real change starts close to home. We all have the power to make change.
Three, two, one, yeah!
You're listening to Squeeze Limes, where truth stings, laughs heal, and nothing's off limits. I'm Tyler, the daughter.
I'm Robin, the mom. And if life gives you lemons,
We're squeezing limes instead.
so grab a seat, open your mind, and get ready to laugh or cry because we're not here to play nice.
We're here to get real. Welcome back to Squeeze Limes, everyone.
Hello.
We're excited to have you. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm Tyler, and this is my mom, Robin.
Hello.
Today, we are sitting down with Janelle Kellman, running for Lieutenant Governor of California, which is super exciting. Janelle's a climate risk and economic resilience leader focused on what people can do next with real plans that protect homes, budgets, and communities when extreme weather hits. She's a former mayor of Sausalito, worked with the U.S. EPA, and founded the Center for Sea Rise Solutions. Janelle, thanks so much for being here.
Super excited to hang out with you guys. Hello from Sausalito, California. Full disclosure, I am what they call a foster fail. I have 3 cats. I tried to foster them. And so you may see a tail or a face from time to time.
So you're most impressive. I'm falling in love with you.
Well, we have to fall in love on the phone. And that's because our dear friend Cheryl connected us.
Yes.
And I listened to the podcast you all had. And I was like, oh, yes, I need to sit down, family time right here and get to know
Yeah.
these ladies.
Well, thank you for
Aw.
taking the time. Totally appreciate it. We have a few questions for you, but we're just going to let you ride with it, basically.
We're going to riff. Watch out,
Okay, let's
everybody. We
riff.
are riffing.
So for anyone meeting you for the first time, what's your through line of your story? And what problem have you basically been chasing down your whole life?
Yeah, I love this question when you guys send it over, and I've been thinking deeply about it because I've been thinking about family. And I think the through line is being in a position to lead or speak for people who want to see change happen. And I come from a long line of a resilient, courageous family. My grandfather escaped the pogroms in Russia, came through Ellis Island, lost a young brother in the process, settled in New York City. My father was the oldest of 3 boys, was the first in our family to graduate from college. And I got to have this amazing childhood and go to Yale undergrad and play 2 sports. And I found myself always gathering people, right? Always as a team captain or a class lead on something. Never a class president, by the way, which is funny now that I'm running for office. But I love bringing people together and finding a way to just be bigger and stronger together than we can be individually.
Absolutely. Love that.
That's amazing. And it's so nice to see that, as we used the word through line, this is something that not only just in your life, but in your family's history, you're honoring them and the sacrifices that they made and the challenges that they faced in order to get to where you are today. And I think that's such a great representation for yourself and your ancestors.
And I also feel like it's so timely with what Trump is doing and ICE and immigration and just this unlawful behavior
Yes.
by this administration to
Mhm.
remember like we are the melting pot. We always have been. And to think that just 2 generations ago, my own family was seeking a safe place, a safe haven here, is really just phenomenal. We all care about who is leading and what they have stood for.
Mhm.
And for me, I stand for someone who's willing to be in front of people and gather and be courageous. And I draw on a big history from my family and what they've been able to do.
Wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yes, and that's so powerful, and we can relate to, obviously, our families have come here overseas, and it's just, it's a reminder, especially in today's age, that we are representing them, and we are pushing forward for the best for ourselves and our country and the future that we're bringing into this world because it really is so important. Um,
Action.
Yes. And so I think we're going to kind of dive into that piece. What we spoke about before is really taking action. So, before we get there, what's a win you're proud of? One that didn't look glamorous at the time, but genuinely protected people or moved the needle?
Yeah, so a win I'm proud of is really a lot of this sort of unsexy stuff that I do behind the scenes. I'm a real policy wonk. I love the details. I think it's really important to dig in and understand what you're working on. So whether it's updating plans or understanding the data and then getting dollars lined up behind it, I love that almost more than the ribbon cutting. And
Yeah.
that's a huge part of being a local elected or any elected official, I think. So I think for me as a mayor and in local government work, I have pushed for very practical, sometimes what people consider to be more boring resilience planning, which I think long term is really exciting. And so when I became a council member, I said to my community, look, we've been flooding for years. I mean, I've lived in Sausalito since 2001. We have been flooding probably the entire time, incremental ways to change this. And so the big win is I went to the state capitol and I personally lobbied our assembly member for money to be able to do what's called a vulnerability assessment and adaptation study. And when I got the notice that I had gotten $1 million
Wow.
for my community, I felt like, you guys
Um,
remember the scene in Austin Powers
yeah.
where he's like, $1 million, right?
Yeah, yeah. Did you do that?
Yes,
With
I
the
did, I
big
kinda did, and I have a check, a picture of a check on my phone that the city manager sent me. This is $1 million. I was like, "No way!" And that was
That's
a huge
passion,
win.
right?
Yeah, because it showed me and what I believe in is that real change starts close to home. And for everybody who's listening and for the work that you all are doing in creating community, that's what we are made up of. We are made up of these smaller groups that come together to strive towards change. And
Yeah.
so to be able to lead my community, get some monies in the coffers to be able to do big things, hugely proud of that.
That's win. That's a win-win-win.
Yes,
Congratulations on
for
that.
sure.
Yeah.
And it's cool to hear you talk about that you enjoy. And I think for so many people in the world today, like we look at point A and point B and we're so focused on getting to point B, but you're really enjoying the process of getting there and taking that action. And I think even just applying that into our own lives and to our daily of let's be here now. What can we do in this moment instead of looking in the future? You're like, let's get there and let's start with this process and this path. And that's beautiful.
You've been
That
doing
I
that your
love
whole career. I mean,
Well,
really,
I
right?
love what you just said. I think, it's funny, I played lacrosse and field hockey in college. And as I said, I was always the team captain. I was like, "Hey, we should get matching sweatshirts and stuff," right? I love being a part of a team. But now, since I have sort of less time to be a part of a team sport, I've become an ultra runner.
Right.
And what you just said, Tyler, really resonates for me because the
Mhm.
thing about running 50 kilometers or 50 miles is you can't be thinking about the finish line the whole time. You've got to love the journey. You've
Right,
got to love mile 5, mile 10, right? All the
right.
way. And that's what this campaigning statewide feels like. I am doing the hardest ultra I've ever done. And it reminds me there's a German poet that was the quote was given at my college graduation, the German poet Rilke, Letters to a Young Poet. And he
Mm.
urges us to live the questions as though they were the answers themselves.
Mm,
Oh, okay.
yes,
Live the
I've heard that
questions
Living
as
in the
though
before.
they're
moment.
answers,
That's
right?
being present and grateful and gracious and noticing.
That's
That's
right.
how people should live, right?
That's right. Be a part of it. Every little bit of it. I think I jokingly told you this, Robin, when we first met, that my dad would pick me up from basketball practice. So I played 4 different sports in high school, but I loved basketball. I loved it. I would be the one that would go down to the playground, in the summertime. And it was funny because I had a friend, Lynn, who ended up playing at Princeton, and she and I would go down with the guys, and they would be like, "Oh, we'll split the women up," and we were like, "No, no, no, we're good. We'll be together." Right, because she was a baller, right? And I
Okay.
just loved to run. And so we'd always be on the same team, and then we'd school the guys. It was super fun. But my dad, when he'd pick me up, he always had Garrison Keillor, Prairie Home Companion. Do you know this
No.
show?
Mm-mm.
It was a show on public radio for years and years, and it was vignettes about a fake small Midwestern town. and it is beautiful insight into people's lives, Prairie Home Companion, and I feel like I am living episodes of Prairie Home Companion
Really?
Mm,
in people's lives.
I love that.
yeah.
You're a happy gal.
I am.
I know you are. I know you are.
I do have a lot of joy. I wake up with a lot of joy.
You really do.
That's
I think that's something that we
beautiful.
talked about when we met. You said, like, I just don't understand. Like, you understand that people have anxiety in this world, obviously, and you empathize.
Mm.
Um, but I think you said, like, you just don't have that. You just don't. You've never gone there to. You didn't have to. You manifest things, and it comes true. And we're all for that for sure.
That's probably when I said, "You should read one of my favorite books." So shout out to Stephen Kotler,
Yes.
Gnar Country, GNAR, all about growing old and staying rad is the subtitle. And
Right.
in this amazing book, he talks about how you enter flow state, which is like when we're doing something, we're just so dialed in and the
Mm.
time passes. But he has this section that explains that physiologically, fear and curiosity come from the same place in our bodies.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's no surprise I've got cats. I am so curious. And I think that, with such good fortune that has replaced, anxiety in my life because I just get curious.
Yeah. Good. We like it. We love it. So, with climate change, just switching the subject a little, it's easy to feel powerless, right? Because it's Mother Nature, it's, the powers that be at the moment. What's something you've seen close that genuinely gives you hope?
Oh, young people. Gosh, young people who care.
Yeah.
That gives me so much hope who despite the fact that our generation and older and slightly younger, we've made these decisions that have put us in a really precarious place from a planet and climate perspective, and young people still wanna be part of the solution. And I
Absolutely.
was yeah, I was with, Cal Poly, which is a school down in San Luis Obispo, Cal Poly Humboldt, and I was with the Democratic Club down there, and they gathered. I was so impressed, gathered about 40 students in the room, and we were doing a Q&A, and it got very candid, and very informal, and one young woman got up, and she was choking back tears, and I said, "Well, what's going on for you?" And she said, "It's just so hard being a woman trying to fight this fight right now, and I just feel like this conversation gives me hope." And I was brought to tears because I was like, "Wait, no way. This conversation gives me hope."
Right, right.
Right.
That's nice.
It's always reciprocal. It's, we're in it together. And that's
We are.
so powerful. And I think, I guess my follow-up question is I have some people in my life that are like, oh, climate change, there's nothing we can do. There's this and that. And like me as one person can't possibly make a difference. Can you speak on that, please?
Right, so can I just give a quote that just says everything?
Yeah.
It's that famous Margaret Mead quote. She was a cultural anthropologist.
Mhm.
She said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." And that
Yes.
is
Indeed.
so powerful, and I
I
gotta
have
tell you,
chills.
I have just part of this, running for office, I'm a Democrat. We go all the time to Democratic Club meetings, and, look, it's not glamorous, it's not fancy, it is people who've decided that they're gonna give back, and I think back, I went to, one up in Auburn with Democratic Club, and they have this beautiful old courthouse and this old city hall, and the meeting was in the basement of City Hall, and they were serving, pizza and Pepsi. And 40 people on a Thursday decided that they would come out to work towards democracy and to
Mhm.
hear me share my thoughts about what I could do as a leader in this space. And it's incredible. I'm blown away each and every time people come together with that belief.
Because they
Mm.
have hope. They want someone to do something and make movement and take action and get results, and that's you.
Can I ask you guys a question? You guys are in Chicago, right? So,
Yeah.
Obama stomping grounds.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Obama gave us so much hope. And
Yeah.
then
So much.
we went into despair, right? This like
A little bit.
trance
Yeah.
of despair. I feel like we need another hope moment, and people are there. What are you guys feeling on the ground there in Chicago?
I would absolutely agree with you. I think that almost went further into despair than we realize. There is like this lost sense of hope and willingness to try and community. And I think that having someone like you step in, I mean, I know you're for California, but just in general, to have you in this country to run and make something stand out and make a statement and make something better, to make a ripple effect across the country can be so beneficial. And we're seeing that now,
More and more.
more and more
Love that.
with politicians that are running or in office in certain areas. And it's so
And the
that
numbers are
part
looking great, actually. I love that. The numbers, you know,
of
of what's going on of our government, meaning the Dems. I mean, I'm part of the Dems in Chicago, so the numbers are just soaring, and that I haven't seen that in a long time,
Oh,
actually.
I love that.
So I'm thrilled for that reason. Sorry
yeah.
for interrupting.
No,
I'm
you're
the
fine.
interrupter. Did you hear?
You're
Sorry.
No, I was
amplifying. You're
trying.
yes-anding over here. Yes, and.
Yes. No, I was just trying to understand what the numbers meant.
Meaning Dems are up to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that we're on the same page of like we're back to where we need hope. We need faith. We need someone to take charge and lead the way and say, "Hey guys, let's do this together. I got this. Here's how we're going to get there."
With no bullshit. Like, I'm done with
Yeah.
bullshit, you know?
Well, this is who I am. I am a straightforward, no BS kind of person with deep empathy for change, and I'm deeply drawn to problem solving. I think that's why I focused on climate issues as an attorney and found myself wanting to be part of communities and wanted to make change. And I think if we move towards hope instead of anger, we could be angry and want to fight and want to resist. And I don't want to stop any of that. But I also want us to have that thread of hope and knowledge that, man, we are really stronger together. Um,
Right.
quick story. I was on a panel the other night after viewing this documentary film called Running for the Mountains. And it's about the extracting industries in West Virginia and Joe Manchin and all the ways that he had completely manipulated the process to make money for himself through the coal industry. And the community activist who came all the way out from West Virginia to be on this panel with us had a really great analogy. He took a bunch of string and he put it together and he said to young people, "Look at this. One string you can break, but let me braid them together.
Mm,
Now try to break it." And what a beautiful analogy. If we stay together, we really can be stronger.
Absolutely.
yeah, that's so true. And I think, um, when we talk about the politicians in our country today and we talk about hope and change, I think the biggest thing that people are ready to see, and I'm really excited for you and about you, is that action comes first. And you certainly lead a record of action to make change. And that's what we want to see in our politicians and the people running this country and the people that really, really grow into this space of, yeah, let's make a difference and make it for the best of us, for the betterment of society and the country and the world. And I mean, we talk about climate change, that's the world, that's not just California, it's not just America, it's everywhere. And so working together, I think, even on a global scale, is so beautiful to see that you're really taking action in that way.
And we inspire each other, right?
Yeah.
We see somebody do something cool or hard and you're like, "Wow, yes, I
Right.
can do that too."
And you can tell
Right.
if it's genuine. I mean, the things you've done, this is passion for you. This has been passion your entire career. So I follow that. I love that, and that gives me a lot of hope, and it makes
True.
every day a little brighter. So thank you for that.
Well, and
That is
then thank
true.
you for that. I mean, this is an opportunity we get to come together and amplify each other. And when
Right.
I love when strong women amplify each other and give each other that opportunity to just be like, "Yeah, girl, you got it. Like, keep going. Everything
Right.
you're doing."
Right. Exactly.
Exactly.
You know what? Here's my theory. Because I played sports for so long, I think we just should tell each other good job. Like, all
Yeah.
the time. So this morning, I was in the gym, and my best friend goes to the same gym, and she was doing these lunges all the way across the room, and I was bench pressing because, women over a certain age, we need to do some heavy lifting now, right, Rama?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, what? Oh,
And
pull me out.
there was a weight that was, like, a little heavier than I really thought I could do on my own, and I was like, "Hey, do you think you could spot me?" And so she intentionally did her lunges over to me, and she stopped, and then we did it. We got through all the reps, and she turned around, she goes, "Good job."
Wow.
And I was like,
Oh,
"Yeah."
That's great. Yeah. I like that. But it helps, right?
I mean, I think it kind of fundamental.
yeah.
You need to remember to tell people, "I know you tried, lead with curiosity, and you know what? Good job."
Right. Good job.
Yes. Because we're all trying our best. We're all doing,
Right. And being
what we
acknowledged for that
can.
is you keep on going with that
Yeah,
attitude, that
exactly.
positivity.
Right.
This is more nerdy wonky, right? So, I mean, I want to give everybody the opportunity since I am a former EPA attorney and I am an environmental lawyer. Most people probably aren't following this, but last Thursday, Lee Zeldin, who I have no idea how he was ever named to be the head of the Environmental Protection Agency,
Well,
would right? Like,
you
what a
don't.
misnomer. Did something really, really terrible, which was roll back the legal basis for the entire government's ability to regulate greenhouse gases. It's called the endangerment finding. And so here's like our little learning moment. And you could think of it as like the backbone of America's ability to regulate climate pollutants because
Mm.
Congress never explicitly told the EPA it could regulate planet warming emissions. But in 2007, the Supreme Court had a landmark ruling called Massachusetts versus EPA. And that ruling established that a greenhouse gas qualifies as a pollutant under the law.
Hmm.
So before that, it wasn't a pollutant. Now it is.
Right.
Because EPA is required to set limits to regulate pollutants, the court told the agency you need to determine whether those greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide or methane, whether they endanger health and welfare. So 2 years later, the EPA had a massive body of scientific evidence, and they came up with this endangerment, finding that 6 different greenhouse gases pose a danger to public health and the environment, and
Hmm.
therefore should be regulated. Unfortunately, Trump has come in, overturned that science, said it's completely not right, total hoax. And what they're hoping will happen is that it goes to the Supreme Court and that the Supreme Court overturns the legal precedent as well. And what that will mean is we can no longer regulate carbon dioxide coming out of smokestacks or
Hmm.
methane coming out of leaking oil and gas pipelines. And that's a global problem. That's not a problem here just in California or just
Right.
in
For sure.
Illinois.
Yeah.
It's global.
And to hear that, I think I've seen like bits and pieces, but I never like really dove into it. But to hear you speak that way about these things that science has really dove into and proved that these are dangerous for the world,
Yep.
and now we have a leader who is taking it back and saying this science is incorrect when it's been proven over and over again. Um, I I personally am getting quite frustrated with that because I really do believe in taking care of our world and our and the climate and making sure that we have good clean air and spaces that we can continue living on this earth and not have to go out in space and fly somewhere
Right.
else.
Right.
Like I want this to be a good planet for all of us and our future generations. And so to hear that um is really quite upsetting and really bothersome that something like that um has happened. And we've seen this over and over again with different different science being redacted and not working out, like the food pyramid and things like
So many
that and
things.
whatever.
Everything
Oh,
changes.
right. Yeah. Wait, milk. We should all be drinking just tons of milk. Yeah.
It's just a
It's,
mess. But
it's
so in terms of something like that that's happening legally, and something that kind of feels so out of our own control
Mhm.
as, just a regular citizen, what is like an actionable step that we can take today, that could benefit
Or combat.
either or combat the decisions being made or help the planet?
yeah. I mean, and that's one of the hardest questions to answer because these things are being made.
Right.
at our Capitol, with our elected officials. And so first and foremost, call your elected official, call your
Right.
congressperson, call your senator, let them know you're watching and you care. And then also everybody has to vote. We have these midterm elections.
Oh, yeah.
This is our opportunity to change this. I mean, it was stunning how quickly and comprehensively the Trump administration has been able to enact these horrific policies, whether we're talking about the endangerment finding or what we've seen in Minnesota with ICE, or even my friends down in San Diego tell me he's building the border wall and he's
Hmm.
building it across pristine habitat. I mean, it's absolutely stunning how swiftly they came in and implemented Project 2025. But
Hmm.
we stay on the hope train, right? And we actually recognize that our vote does count, it does matter, and we get out there,
Absolutely does.
um,
Yes.
and get involved. Yeah, I tell people all the time, run for school board. Run
Mm,
for school board. That is like a huge opportunity to make a difference in your community, especially if you have kids. But even if you don't, this is where we're teaching the
sure.
next generation.
Exactly.
Yeah, so just getting involved and helping make decisions that hopefully then do have a ripple effect up to the very top.
Well, and I think it's even one step further. It can be so daunting to take that first step. I'd say surround yourself with other people who care deeply. Be a
Mm,
Right.
part of the community. And I was telling Robin this too. One of the philosophies that has always guided me in my adult life is the Japanese philosophy of ikigai.
Hmm.
And so ikigai, imagine four concentric circles. It's what you're good at, what the world needs, what you want to do, and what you get paid for. And somewhere they overlap. And in the middle is your passion and your purpose.
mm,
And I've referenced this so many times, and it was just over the last year and a half that I learned that ikigai doesn't exist by itself. It exists within community.
Hmm.
And that's the full definition of the Japanese philosophy. And so if you can find your passion and your purpose and be a part of your community in how you play this out, then you will just be you'll be that braided strand of individual threads.
It's lovely, actually, when you can find that. It's
Yeah,
important.
really is.
You
Well,
can
you
find
you
it.
two seem to
Anyone
have
can
it.
find it.
Have you 2 always been besties?
no.
Of course we have. What?
Kidding.
Trick question. Are we editing that out?
No,
No.
we are so not. No,
We're
we love
raw
each
and real.
other. We've always been close, for sure. I have a philosophy of mother daughter or whatever parent child best friends. It makes my
Mm,
stomach kind of. I don't think a parent should be best friends with their children.
yeah.
Like if we are, we're as close as best friends can be. However, I'm still her mom.
Yeah.
She's still my daughter, and I think that there's a boundary there, a fine line, and I see a ton of that all the time living, among in Chicago in the North Shore and of what I do, family counseling. But it should not be that intertwined to the maximum potential that like the bestie should. I believe that. That's just my opinion. So,
Well,
um,
yeah, but we are very close, and over the years, I feel like, as I grow into my own person and have my own philosophies and ways of doing things, like we have grown into this relationship of
understanding.
understanding, and we're
Sorry.
still working on that today, as
It's always,
everyone
I
is.
think relationships are a work in progress every day.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
evolution.
Right. And it's all about boundaries, I think, and like understanding what people want and
Mhm.
listening, not interrupting, and working on it.
Have you guys ever seen, the new show with Noah Wiley, The Pit?
Yes, love. Oh my God,
Love,
I'm
right?
obsessed with it. I love him.
What okay, what do you love about it the most?
It's funny because I love that it's like every hour, right?
Yeah.
It's just one day of the entire show. But I love that it's multi-generational. I love that the diversity. I love that there's pockets of little friends. And I really love the nurse that runs the ship.
Oh, yeah, the blonde?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
She's amazing.
she
She's
is.
amazing and funny and real, really. I mean, it's frustrating to watch at times because the waiting room makes me crazy. I'm like, "Oh, just you're gonna be nice." I'm, like, screaming at the TV. But it's heartwarming, right? What's your part? What's your
Well, I
fave?
I was thinking about it because it's sort of I won't call my guilty pleasure because there's nothing guilty about it, but, the end of a long day, just a little unwind, a little 30 minutes of the pit, and there was this scene last night where, a young doctor came in and immediately told a woman who may have been, homeless or struggling with, uh, some economic issues, immediately told her how she felt and what she should do, right? And her mentor, the resident, was like, "Hey, sometimes you need to come in and just listen."
Mhm.
And I thought, man, it was like so many beautiful, powerful
Yes.
lessons, right?
Yes.
Don't
Yes.
embarrass somebody. Meet them where they are. Figure out ask questions. Figure out what do they need.
Right. That's right. I mean, that's the whole purpose of communication.
Yeah,
Right.
I thought
And
it was really beautiful.
yeah, we've spoken about that before and on some of our episodes about listening and how powerful that is. And we really, we speak about the pause and making sure that you're pausing in a moment of reflection and awareness and grounding in order to either respond or continue listening, and lead with curiosity because it's so important,
Right.
for relationships and for what we can do and put out into the world and find our purpose. It's so powerful and meaningful to take those skills and put them into action.
The power
Absolutely.
of the pause,
The
right?
power of the pause.
Yes.
It's amazing. And the
And
difference
meaningful
between
act.
reacting and responding.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes, we're
God,
so
we're so
in
wise.
Aren't we?
It's reminding me, I don't know if you guys are Brené Brown,
Yeah, yeah,
readers,
yes,
right?
yes,
Okay, so shout out to Brené Brown, who has a
for
great
sure.
body of work, and, she, of course, talks about courageous leadership, and she has a new book out, so she's been on a lot of podcasts, and she had something really beautiful with Adam Grant recently that was talking about, real leadership takes courage, and vulnerability is, something you need to be courageous, and so she defines courage as vulnerability in the face of uncertainty.
Mhm.
And she went and she interviewed like 500 Navy SEALs. She interviewed all these NFL teams. And she asked them, can you be courageous without being vulnerable? And they all come back and said no. And I was just thinking about it because this full circle moment about like what's missing in our leadership around the world is this sense of authenticity, which I think stems from true vulnerability. And
Absolutely.
that's
The
right. That's,
ego is the
yeah,
is the enemy.
it's incredible. When you see a leader be vulnerable,
You
you
lean
feel like,
in.
yeah, they can
You
lead me
lean
into
in.
battle.
It's attractive. It's always been attractive when people are vulnerable. They're real, and
Yeah.
we're all humans, so you don't have to act almighty, and that's what we've been watching.
If
So,
you ever have Brene Brown on, I wanna be a fly on the wall, I will definitely, hit repeat on that. Oh my
yeah.
god, you guys would
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
that'd be
for
let's
sure.
such a great
manifest
conversation.
that, please.
Let's bring
That
it.
would
We're
be
manifesting it out
wonderful.
to the world.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
So just backtracking to, your expertise and the action that you've taken. You've been a mayor and now you're running for lieutenant governor of California. So if someone wants to help and we kind of touched on this a little bit because there's so many ways to help, but what's the most effective way to get involved?
The most effective way to help someone who's running for office, regardless of what it is, are warm introductions to people in your network.
Mhm.
Because this is all a visibility campaign. And we don't have very good campaign finance reform in the United States.
Yeah.
And so that means that some people enter the race with a lot more money than others. And I'm more of a grassroots candidate. So my favorite thing is to get in the room with people. It's called retail politics, which I sort of take offense to because I'm not selling anything. I'm actually there
Sure.
to receive whatever they want to share with me and to listen. But it's the most powerful, I think, way to interact with people. I'm reminded. So I told you I was inspired, and I am inspired by my family. I have this story that I share sometimes at events where I talk about my great aunt Charlotte. So I got an undergrad from Yale. I got a master's in environmental management from Oxford, and then ultimately came out here for law school at Stanford. And when I
And
was
you're
studying at
showing off
Oxford,
right now.
yeah, well, I told you I like the details, and I love
Seriously,
hard
I
work.
do too. That's
I
what I'm
love
saying,
hard
like,
work.
I'm just in love with you. You're amazing. Go on. Sorry.
No, you go on.
Go on.
So so when I was in England, and I get a call one day that my, grandma Ruthie has passed away. So
Mm,
earlier I said my grandfather came through Ellis Island, this was his wife. And
mm.
so Grandpa Julie is still alive, but Grandma Ruthie passed away, and I wanted to come home quickly and get home, and we're Jewish, and which meant that we bury our dead very quickly, and I was not gonna get home in time for the funeral. So my dad said, "No, stay, and we'll regroup when you get back to the States." So a year later, I graduate and I get back home and I move to Washington, D.C. And I'm working at the Smithsonian, which is the castle on the mall,
Oh,
that
love it.
fun building,
Gorgeous.
doing research around environmental issues. And I get a call that my great uncle Joe has passed away. And he is a pretty well known child psychologist. And there's going to be this huge memorial. And everybody in my family is coming to town. I haven't seen everybody since I got back. So I think, okay, I'll go to this memorial and I'll be with everybody. And that way I will have an opportunity to really catch up. And I walk in the door and I'm immediately greeted by the most amazing, beautiful, tiny French woman. And she speaks to me in this accented English, this French accent, and just my Aunt Charlotte. This is Uncle Joe's widow. And she takes me, arm in arm, and I'm about 5'7". I'm not, super big, but she's tiny. Takes me arm in arm. We go into the corner. We spend the entire day together, just sharing and learning, and just it's beautiful. And I find myself
Wow.
grieving for my grandmother, and she's grieving for Joe, and we just have this real intimate connection.
Wow.
And hours go by and the memorial ends, and I get up to leave and I'm walking towards the door and she races after me and she grabs my elbow. I remember she grabs my elbow and she says, "Wait, wait, I have to talk to you. I have to tell you something." And I said, "Well, of course, we spent the whole day together. You can tell me anything." And she says, "I've just met you, but I have to tell you, you remind me of me when I was in the French resistance during World War II."
Wow.
Whoa.
Another
I always
chill
get, like, a little
moment.
choked up when I say this, yeah. Always, no matter even when I'm like, "I'm not gonna get choked up," I'll feel it in my throat. And I said, "Well, what did you do?" And she said, "Well, I was a courier." And, we all see the movies, you imagine, a bike and messages, enemy lines. And I said, "Well, what did you carry?" And she said, "Well, I carried thousands of children from Paris across the border of Switzerland to safety.
Oh,
And I escorted men from Paris to Toulouse in the dead of night so they could go over the Pyrenees into Spain. And I smuggled guns and money and I planted explosives." And I was stunned. And I said to her, "Well, why?" Which is a question I get often. "Why would you run for office? It's so hard. It's so ugly. Why?" And she said, "Well, my very good friend had been doing it and she was captured and tortured and killed by the Nazis.
mm,
But the work still needed to be done."
absolutely. She carried it
And
out
she carried it out, and years later, to this day, the biggest compliment I've ever received was her telling me that I reminded herself of, me of herself or, whatever that phrase is, and so she was just incredible, and so I
That is,
found
like,
this
the greatest
article
compliment you can ever have,
I find
really.
this article about her, you guys, and the article had this framing that I just think is phenomenal, and the question was, why do some people move towards risk
Mm,
when other people move towards safety? And what is it like to live in a world where we have people who are willing to say, "This is gonna be hard and it's gonna be scary, but I'm in it."
right,
Mhm.
and that's why,
And that's
and
why.
that's who you are. Fantastic, really.
So inspirational. I can't even remember why I segued into that story, but thank you for letting me tell it.
It I think that in itself just shows your resilience and something she saw in you to
From the
keep
beginning.
on going for and just only knowing you for a day to just say, "You've got this. Keep on going. I've been there, I've done it, and I see it in you too."
And you're the courier for us.
Yes.
Really,
Oh,
true.
God, that's such a gift. Thank you,
It
Robin.
it is
It
It's
is such a
wonderful
gift for us to
to
have
learn
you
that.
in
Yeah.
this world and wanting to make a change and wanting to make a difference. I mean, this is where the power comes from is people like you stepping into these roles to really drive change and
Hope
to
and
drive hope and
take
basic
action. Yeah.
humanity for ourselves and the world around us. And it's such an incredible thing. And I'm getting chills, like
Me too.
just thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Isn't there? I reminded of a. I read a lot, so quotes come to my head, and I'm reminded of. I think it was MLK that said, "The moral arc of the universe bends toward justice, but
Mhm.
it does not get there on its own."
Right. Of course not.
God, I'm so inspired every day by leaders like
Yes.
MLK and like
Yes.
my own family.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Yes. And um before we jump into our last question, we talk the reason was because we were talking about how people can support you and
That's right.
how
Segue.
we can yes, and how we can get there. Can you put in some plug in for where people can find you and support you physically out in the world?
100%. First of all, will you guys be my best friends? Because
Yes.
this is
Yes.
like, this is so good. I love this. This is so,
Thank
dare I
you.
say juicy? Is that like,
Please. The more juice, the better.
adjective here?
Peter.
Yes, for sure. JanelleKellman.com. On Instagram at Janelle Kellman for LTG. It's FORLTG. Same on TikTok. You can find me on YouTube. I love doing conversations like this. I love meeting new people. And I hope to write a book one day on these
Oh, yeah.
vignettes of
Yes.
just this is America now. And to
Yeah.
have literally, I'm a big basketball fan, courtside seats on democracy.
Seriously.
That's what
On
this
Yes.
feels
democracy.
like.
I
And
love
I guess I'm shooting the threes. I'm just shooting the threes all day long.
it.
Please do. We need more of that. Do you
All
want
right, guys,
to
what's your
finish up with
favorite
the
word? Do
last?
you have a favorite word?
Oh, I forgot. You asked this before we started.
No, I do. I mean,
Okay,
my
go, you
favorite word
go.
of all time, I know it's bad. I mean, whatever. It's fuck.
Oh, I mean, gosh, you should have let her bit of go
Sorry, I
last.
know.
There,
But it is. It's my favorite word.
It's
It
flexible.
means everything to me all the time. Like fuck this or fucking yeah or whatever it
Yeah.
is. I use it maybe a little too much, but I love it. I just
Uh,
love it. Yours. What's yours?
Wait, so curious little fact. I did a promo video, my team helped me create, and at the end, I actually say, "Let's effing go," except I actually
Okay.
say it. Uh, it's got mixed reviews, to be honest. We
Okay.
have a bleached version as well, but LFG all day long.
Yes. Yes.
All day
I
long.
love that.
It's just
Yeah.
all hardcore. Like that's what it means. It's like my passion word.
Yeah.
It is. I'm sorry. I
It's
just
cute.
okay.
It's
Thanks. What's yours?
awesome. I have no idea. I don't think I've ever thought of like a favorite word. I don't think I could
Well,
choose just one because there's so many like multifaceted ways that I can go about it, if that makes sense.
yeah.
And what's
Um,
yours?
I don't
Okay, all
know.
right. I have one, but I'll do a ramp up to it. So it's amazing. The English language requires so many words to say something where, like ikigai, one
Mhm.
word explains passion, purpose.
Uh,
I think it's the Norwegians that say friluftsliv, which means in and of and being of the mountains, right?
good.
Or heiji, or I can't remember how to pronounce that. That feeling of being cozy. I love all of those, and so because of that, I'm not picking a word like that. I almost use petrichor, which is the smell that describes the smell of dirt after the first rain. It's called
Mm,
Ooh.
petrichor.
I
But
love that.
but in Robin's theme, I'm going to say my favorite word right now is amplify.
Amplify.
Mm.
Good one. Good
Amplify.
one. Great
I
one.
think you should surround yourself with people who amplify you. And you should seek to amplify others and their work and their philosophies and their heart space and their joy,
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Amplify.
Yes. Yes.
Somebody like more of it, more of it. Take up space.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I love that. That's a great mantra word. Amplify.
I love
I gotta
that.
use it. I'm using it.
Yeah, and I'll use yours.
Very good. Rock on with that.
That's perfect.
Be careful. So,
Do you
oh
wanna
yes, I
do
will. I
yeah.
will. I will ask you our last question, which is always the most fun for me. The juiciest life question. When it comes to your own life, what does living your juiciest life actually mean to you, and what are you doing right now to live it on purpose?
Well, I think so much about the journey. I love the journey. I love being in it and reminding ourselves, right, to be present. People say be here now. But when you have the opportunity to surround yourself with work that matters and people you love and a body that can carry you through the hard moments, like the body mind connection. And right now
Yes.
I'm living it I'm choosing courage over comfort
Yep.
and still making time for trail miles and real connection. And so I think my juiciest days is when I feel alive. My friends joke in the morning, I get up, I pull the shades, this is real. I pull the shades and I have these little cats around here and they all flock over. And literally, I kid you not, this is a moment of vulnerability, everybody. I open the shade and I say, "Good morning, world." And I know
Right.
it's so corny, but I'm like, "Good morning." Because who
Yes.
knows?
Yes.
Love it. I love it.
That's exactly what I do with my daughter every morning. We open the shades and we're like, "Good morning. Hi, grass. Hi, trees. Hi,
Yes.
neighbors."
Right.
Good
Right.
morning, world. I'll say goodnight to the moon. Good night, moon. Right? Like,
Yeah.
Right. Good
oh,
night.
you guys, the moon is like the coolest thing.
The coolest.
The coolest.
This is super corny, but I feel like the moon is so powerful, not just because of what it means to us as people and what it does to the tides and it pulls mushrooms up but around the world, we all see the moon, right? Like, it's incredible.
It is incredible.
Incredible.
It's
Yeah.
incredible.
When she was born, her nickname was Luna, which is the moon in
Mm.
in Italian, right? La bella luna, the beautiful moon.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So, I still call her Lou, which is, but that's what it was to me. That's what she was to me. So that's how beautiful and spectacular I believe the moon is as well. Yeah.
I'll say one last thing about the moon. And you didn't ask this question, but I'm going to answer it anyway, which is if I could do one thing, and I'm actually already, I think, doing it climate related, where I think we can make the biggest difference is ocean health and
Mm,
paying attention because our oceans are a huge partner for us in pulling greenhouse gas emissions out of the atmosphere and sequestering carbon. And they are polluted and full of plastics, which is
Yes.
leading to ocean acidification.
Mhm.
And of course, thinking about the moon, I have to think about tidal action and flooding and other impacts that we are having around the world to communities. And so we are all related. And so I think the work that I do doing climate work is really doing community work. And it's called about resilience for all of us. Resilience was my word last year, by the way.
Okay. Oh, good.
there we go.
That's
And
great.
that reminds me because we talked about taking action and talking to calling your representatives and the people that are in office to make a change. But what's one small action that we can do in our daily lives? I'm just reminded by like Jane Goodall's words and I think it was like her documentary or something that I watched, and it was something so simple where she said, "Oh, whenever I stay at a hotel, I make sure to have all of my garbage in one spot. So I'm not using all the plastic bags and all these like 4 or 5 bins around the hotel room. And just that one small act is helping." And so,
Yeah.
is there something that or maybe a few, I don't know, that you want to have our listeners maybe be like, yeah, I can do
Like just
this.
start
Like,
today.
this is
Yeah. I
actionable
love
for me.
that. I go everywhere with this.
Mm,
Right? Just make a commitment to yourself that you're not drinking water out of a plastic bottle.
Yep.
Just don't
Yep.
do it. Why would you want to anyway?
Right.
Get a
yes.
reusable,
Right.
right? And this is it. This is the way of the world. So no more plastic bottles. Just make that commitment for yourself in 2026. Use
Absolutely.
less water, right? Use the towel a second time, a fourth time,
Absolutely.
right? Think
Absolutely.
about
Are
your
you
water
looking at
use.
me?
And your
I am
car doesn't
looking
need
at
to get washed
What the fuck?
every
I'm
week.
just kidding.
Yeah. This is
Sorry.
amazing
this
Serious
is
study.
good. This
conversation.
is good for her to hear.
No, I do. I don't okay. Whatever.
Well, if people don't understand, I think, just how much they can impact water conservation and consumption. So It's a finite resource right now until we really figure out how to use desalination and do it in a way that is healthy for the environment and for the ecosystem. We have and we continue to have massive drought problems around the world. And if
Absolutely.
we can conserve, we can make a significant impact in how much water we use. In fact, in LA, the US Green Building Council did a 50-liter water project to try to have people reduce, just with a small subset, their water consumption. What they did was they installed sensors, kind of like a Nest, to say like
Yeah.
how much water. And when people
Right.
saw how much water they were using, they cut it significantly,
Oh, wow.
like
I love that.
almost in by a third. And so just being really mindful and I think get over that feeling that, oh, one person can't do anything. That's actually not true. One person can lead a movement. One person can start a movement. And so you
Yes.
don't use plastic bottles. Tell your 5 friends this year we're not using plastic bottles. Bring your bag to the store, right?
Right.
No more
Right.
plastic carryouts.
Right.
Don't do it.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm even reminded of like turn your faucet off when you're brushing your teeth or just turn off the shower when I'm shaving my legs. Like things
Yeah.
are just so simple that maybe you might not think of, like
Right.
could really make a bigger impact than you think.
Well, I'll share this. When people ask me, who am I tell them I am a community leader who takes action. And I explained to them, like, here are these examples, right? I was the mayor in Sausalito when we had one of 3 homeless encampments in our
Mm,
county.
mm,
And I figured out a way to resolve and settle the litigation around that and to help everybody in the encampment find housing.
Mm,
And I know how to bring disaster dollars into a community. I've worked with FEMA, I've worked with California Office of Emergency Services. And I've navigated the insurance crisis. Our community got dropped from our insurance pool as a municipality, navigated the private insurance market.
mm.
And I tell these stories as a local elected for one really, really important reason that's, I think, been a theme throughout, which is that I believe real change starts close to home.
Absolutely.
And
You're
so
right.
just
In the
remember
community.
that yeah, we all have the power to make change.
yes.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much.
Yes. Janelle, thank you so much. It has truly been an honor and a
It
privilege
has.
Thank
to have
you.
you
So glad to
on.
know you.
Yes, and to share your knowledge with us and our audience. And of course, if anyone ever has any questions, please, feel free to reach out to us or, the ways that you plugged in and reach out to you. And thank you so much.
I'm going to come to California and rock on with you.
Oh my gosh. I was just gonna say, can I come for dinner? But in
I'll come
reverse,
to you.
come for me,
I will.
and I will show
I'll
you some of my
join your
favorite places.
absolutely. That would be
Great.
great.
Bring your trail
Wonderful. Thank you
shoes.
so
Love it.
much.
Thank you both.
Thank
Huge
you.
hugs. Okay,
All right.
bye.
If you're staying tuned, please feel free to leave a review, write a comment, share the love, spread this to your closest family and friends. We really want to get Janelle's name out there and her purpose and passion into this world. So thank you so much, and we'll see y'all later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, you
Bye.
guys.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Be sure to follow, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a good squeeze.
Of course, everybody needs one.
See you next time on Squeeze Lines.